Alright guys, we are back with another video. Today we're looking at another side project that I made, and this went in the opposite direction of the last one. So the last one we were going for higher fidelity graphics, those cinematic camera angles, those nice multi-layered channeled textures that we're getting all the detail we can. We're getting those normal maps, we're getting those height maps, we're getting those reflections. This is just Unity and just a whiteboard, like a whiteboard you buy at the dollar store. I had my girlfriend draw up some stuff, just as a fun little thing to do for a couple hours, and she ended up giving me this right here as a nice walk cycle, and then I was able to take that and essentially chop it up in the sprite editor using techniques that we've already gone over in the past, and divide it up to build a character just out of that one walk cycle, which is pretty nice. And then she drew me some basic clouds, a couple basic shapes, these little animated spike guys here. So you see it's very rudimentary. Little start game button. Nice little sun. What else did she give me? And then I took an actual photograph of her hand so that I could have essentially an avatar of her hand draw things into the game in real time. So it's not perfect. Let me turn the volume down a little bit. There we go. It's not perfect, but this is what we ended up coming up with, and this was over probably a day or so. So you see it draws everything in real time. I'm able to move the character around. And it drops these red blocks. And then it also draws spikes. Looks like it's just going to keep drawing spikes over and over again. I'm going to turn the volume on this down. There we go. Yeah, sorry about the music, guys. I wanted everything to be as rudimentary and basic as possible, just because it's a lot of fun designing that way sometimes. Those limitations somehow create more interesting things. They force you to try different things you wouldn't normally try. But I did all the audio just kind of humming into a microphone and making noise and then layering that. As I said, my girlfriend drew everything on a whiteboard to actually create all the art, and then I took that and animated it. Mostly with really simple functions. As I have my hand animated moving around the board, I would just bring in or activate these game objects in place where they should be based on where the hand is during that animation. I just got by the spikes. So it's pretty simple stuff. I'm sorry if this down here is a little distracting. I like, if a game is able to be played on my phone, I like to toss it onto my phone so that I can, if I'm walking down the street or sitting in the car, can sit and play with it and have a little bit of fun. But yeah, this works fine on mobile devices as well. And you could go a lot more complex with it. I thought about having the clouds, like lightning, come down from the clouds. I had not gotten to that point yet. Let me pop out of this. Let's take a quick look at the project. So this starter scene, there's almost nothing going on. I literally have, so I have this frame set up and that's literally framing the entire scene. And then I have the actual start button, which does not appear until you get the hand coming through. Then you click the start button and it transfers you over to the actual level scene, which is this right here. And you see it's pretty simple. This is the whole scene. And okay, actually I said I used activate objects. In this particular case, I would normally use that. I didn't use that. I'd forgotten. Because there are so many objects, and because it would have to be timed on when they're activated, like as the hand is going by, these things are appearing in sequence. Instead of trying to do that with math, I literally just stuck a square the same color as the background in front of them, and then animated that square to just scooch on out of the way at the same rate that the hand would animate past. So I just matched up the keyframes. So that's how we got that draw-in effect. As far as the actual programming, it's all really simple stuff. Obviously the blue blocks are 2D rigid body, physics active, but there's nothing else going on with them. I might have like some decrease in friction or something like that so they can scooch a little bit better. The red ones are simply assigned with a tag. They're in here somewhere, but they're assigned with a tag that whenever the player character is hit by, it just restarts the level, and same thing with the spikes. Now, we were actually able to create an entire walk animation on the whiteboard. So my girlfriend just drew out each frame, like so, and then I came back and isolated them in the sprite editor so that you're able to use those individually. And we have it set up. Let's look at our guy here. Guy walk. So we have really basic animation system going on. And then we also have there we go, the controller for that system right here. And it's pretty simple stuff. I think the cool thing here, and obviously you would do this with sprite sheets as well, I just thought it was fun to be able to just sketch onto a whiteboard and then chop that up and have that work just fine. So through that, one walk cycle animation that she drew by hand, I was then able to essentially, whenever it starts out, he'll start by just holding the first frame of his animation, and then based on the direction you push, we'll just flip the sprite on the x-axis in either direction, and then play that same walk animation all the way through. And then on the jump animation, I think actually we might have had a separate one for that. Let me see here. Here we go. Yeah, we had a separate jump animation that we streamed in. So 2 animations control the whole character. And all in all, it's a very simple game. It's a really simple scene, very simple setup, but I just thought it was a lot of fun. It was really simple, and I like simple stuff. It's crazy how complex it can get when you start to stack it up. But I thought, relative to the last project where we had, trees and towers and priests with robes and sunbeams and all that stuff. It would be nice to switch it up, and now we have just a little stick figure on a whiteboard. So even if you don't feel confident in working with Blender or GIMP or whatever software, all those things are their own art forms, and that makes it kind of a crazy thing, because if you want to develop games, by yourself, solo, then you're doing like 30 people's jobs. There's so many aspects and so many things to handle, and that's why one of my first videos was talking about the software that you need. It was talking about here's where I go to get the best that I can. That they don't all do the best job that every program does, but they get the job done, and you can learn about those things and get results with it. So you can use Blender, and you can create complex animations and layered materials and all sorts of crazy stuff. Or you can go buy a whiteboard at the dollar store and start drawing you out some stick figures, some basic shapes, and then learn how to layer them together. And you can make a game out of that. So I thought it was cool to go the opposite direction. Instead of trying to go heavy on the graphics, we're going light, and I like the contrast. I like jumping back and forth. If anything in here didn't make total sense, or if anything stands out to you that I could have done a little bit better on this, let me know. All in all, it's just a little side project. I don't think it's complex enough to warrant another series to go into it, but if you guys want me to go into the details and literally we can rebuild this sort of thing from scratch, let me know in the comment section. I'll look into doing that. But I just thought you guys would think it was cool. I appreciate you coming by. If you have some time, like, share,